Hi all. This is a video that on a subject that I may have talked about in other videos on martial arts. This is a martial arts video. If you're looking at this and wondering why I'm not talking about Asperger's syndrome, because you're on the martial arts playlist. And what this is about the concept of Mushin. As I said, it came up recently. I was at the Raleigh Open Longsword Tournament, and I met a whole bunch of people, some people I'd only been able to talk to online, met a few more friends, reconnected with some old ones. It was a good day. And the subject of Mushin came up with one of the better competitors, but he didn't know what I was talking about. And it was clear that that's what he was aiming for. His style, his technique was very instinctual, it was very intuitive. And I know that technique because that's what I try to do too. So I talked to him about the concept of Mushin. It's an Eastern martial arts concept. It's not in Western martial arts. It's a Japanese word. I'm not even going to pretend to know what the exact translation is, but it's most commonly translated as the concept of no mind. If you've seen the film Last Samurai, he's getting his butt whooped in training, and one person comes over and says, please, he sort of wants to give advice. And he goes, too many mind. And he goes, too many mind. He goes, yes, mind the sword, mind opponent, mind people watching, too many mind. No mind. He goes, no mind. He goes, no mind. And he goes out and tries to clear his mind. So what Mushin is, no mind, is being neither for nor against, being neither to the left nor to the right, being neither tense nor loose, being at the center of all things, of all states, being able to go in any direction, but not preloaded to go in any direction. And what Mushin is if you've ever done martial arts, if you've ever done anything that athletic, you know you're just reacting, but you're not reacting to action. You're making decisions ahead of when you have to. You're going, in moments, he's going to do this, and then I'll have to do this, and then I'll have to do this. I'm just going to be there now. In football, and they call it being in the zone. I'm not a huge football fan. Strike that, I'm not a football fan. But I've caught some games. And I have seen some guys dance their way across the field about halfway, at which point they channel their inner Olympic sprinter, and then they just go. And they're this far from out of bounds, one foot in front of the other. They go. And then a guy tries to tackle them right out of nowhere, but then they go, ole! And they let the guy pass, and their feet never go out of bounds. And then they keep going. And they get to the end zone, and they score points. And I'm not a football fan. But as an athlete, I can look at that guy and go, dude. And you watch that's why I like watching the Olympics, because you see people just pull shit off, especially in competitive play. Sometimes that competition, like in skiing, is the mountain, and they somehow survive when they shouldn't, but it's Mushin. And in martial arts, it's very, very important to be aware of that. No mind, I've talked to combat soldiers, and they talk about having no mind. They're shoot, move, and communicate. It's all happening all at the same time. And they're doing it, and they're not really aware of them doing it, but they win. And that combines with another concept called Zanshin. Now, in single combat tournaments, Zanshin doesn't really come up. Mushin is applicable. Mushin is much more focused with you in the immediate environment. Zanshin would be ready mind. Zanshin would be, you've heard about this, it's happened to me. You're walking down the street, you're thinking of something, you're not consciously aware of your surroundings, but suddenly you're blocking and you're hitting and you're in a fist fight and you come out of it okay. You have no real recollection of where that opponent came from, but you acquitted yourself and you came away unhurt or mostly unhurt, and you have no idea how that happened because you had Zanshin, ready mind, situational awareness. but on a subconscious level. And people say, Aspies can't do that. I'm an Aspie. I do that. My wife, who is sitting next to the side right here while I record this, has talked about how we'll be driving in traffic on a highway, and I'll be maintaining a conversation, and we'll be really into the conversation, and I'll be really into driving, because I've been driving for a little bit at this point. I've been in the car like half an hour, and somebody does something stupid and almost causes us to get into an accident. And this is especially true when I had a manual, and I had to be really in tune with what the car was doing at all times. And I would hit the brakes, downshift, spin the wheel, re-engage the clutch, and punch the throttle, and bounce the vehicle out of danger, and then be back on the highway and be back at cruising speed, all without realizing that we had ever been in danger. I was just reacting before it was too late to a situation, maintaining control, becoming one with the car. Modern folks might call it, I used the force. And yeah, I got through it. And she didn't think it would happen to her. It has. I've seen it. Was there. And she understood what it was like to not be aware that something had happened. I was like, wait, oh, okay, I guess we're good. And she was like, yeah, car's fine. And my job, my daily job, is to be a delivery driver. So I drive fairly large vehicles between 5 and 14 tons, and I work in and around a college town, and trust me, college kids, they don't pay attention, either because they're too stupid or they're too burnt. Trust me, you can tell the difference. The stupid ones look like the air is going between their ears, or they're new. By the way, I don't necessarily say they're all stupid. Some are just new and overwhelmed. I get it. You're 18. It's your freshman year. Don't die, and we'll try to do our best not to run you over. Having said that, some are masters and PhD students, and they got that look. Just look at any PhD student or master's student. They're like, ah! They're off in their own little world, man. It ain't their fault. They just had to do like all the calculations, or they had to study like all the history or something, but it just ate their brain. And all they're trying to do is get home and grab a shower and catch some sleep and then go do it again. So, or trying to get food, or whatever. And so I got to dodge these people, and I got stupid drivers like everywhere. And the road twists and curve, and there's a lot of hills in the area. And so I've got to sort of be in Zanshin, ready mind, to be aware of my surroundings. But at the same time, have Mushin, no mind, because I can't be sitting there going, I have to turn the wheel a little bit now. I have to avoid this. I have to avoid that. I have to be one with that car, with that truck. I have to talk to the truck. I have to be aware of the truck talking back to me. And so
sometimes you have a truck that rambles.
And sometimes I have a truck that rambles, as she got to experience over the weekend when we used a company vehicle for a company purpose, and she accompanied me because our jobs intersected. And she was like, oh my God, it talks to you all the time, in every moment of every day. And I'm like, yes. And then there's a radio, and then you've got a passenger. It's a little distracting. But you get used to it. Sometimes you get a little snippy and bitchy, like, I've been doing things all day, I'm burnt out. Can you maintain Mushin for hours on end? I can't. I'm not saying it's not possible. I can't. I can maintain it for minutes on end. Thankfully, my job has me traveling for minutes on end. Sparring, you're there for minutes on end. So yeah, Mushin is no mind. Be neither for nor against, neither this way nor that. Zanshin is ready mind, the ability to react to your environment if it changes, even though you don't expect it to. Soldiers talk about this when they're going through and they're scouting, and they're like, they don't expect to see the enemy, but they're ready if he's there. Zanshin. Mushin. He's right here, and I don't know what he's going to do, but I ain't going to let him. Mushin. I hope you all had a good day. I hope your weekend was good. By the way, She took her professional certification and passed.